the drastic changes in the upcoming 2022 California housing market. There's a lot to discuss, and it's all coming up. Stay tuned. Hi, this is Warren Oberholser. California 2022 housing market is about to go through some major changes, and here's why. Now, make sure you stay to the end of this video because I'm going to give you my take on everything I'm going over with you. I guarantee you it's not what you think. Number one, the rise in interest rates. Interest rates have gone up faster than forecast. It's predicted to go as high as 4%. If you've watched any of my videos or read any of my blogs that I posted in the last 2 months, you know that I've been predicting this, and I've discussed how this will be the catalyst to make the transition from a seller's market to a more even market by the rise in interest rates. CNBC states that this will wipe out the refi department by 33%. Redfin's latest November predictions echoes this. In fact, they predict it'll be just a rise to 3.6%. They feel this will balance the market by allowing more properties to be available. This will ease the buying frenzy and slow down the price growth. Now understand, this is not going to create a buyer's market. A buyer's market is when there's more supply than demand, and clearly, we have enough demand. Number two, it's getting harder to qualify for a mortgage. This dovetails with the rise in interest rates. In an article by Money.com, according to Mortgage Bankers Association, mortgage loans got harder to come by. Overall, mortgage credit availability is now at its lowest point since September 2020, which indicates standards are tightening up. So when mortgage availability drops, it becomes harder to get a mortgage. This means to qualify, you have to have a higher credit score and a larger down payment. The hardest loan to qualify for is conventional. In fact, they became 23.5% less available in June of 2021. This is something I'm seeing firsthand. The buyer for one of my pending listings was originally 5% down conventional. When the appraiser called me up to set up the appointment to come out and do the inspection, he said, you know, the loan is not conventional, it was switched to FHA. This was a red flag. My listing's in good order, however, but it has a couple of issues that most likely will not pass the FHA appraisal. So when I reached out to the buyer's loan agent and to inquire, hey, why was there a switch from conventional to FHA? She said when the buyer's loan went through the underwriter, part of the condition was the buyer was to pay off their $28,000 loan for their car. Since the buyer doesn't have those kinds of resources, you know, an extra $28,000 in the bank, they had to switch from conventional to FHA. So the buyer made some changes to the terms of their contract, which made everything work out. Now, VA and FHA loans are great. However, they may not be the best fit for the property you want to purchase. I'm planning an FHA video that will go through the challenges and advantages and how to navigate through the appraisal. So just take from this, it's getting more difficult to qualify for a mortgage, and especially for conventional financing. Number three, buyers are pushing back. I have also discussed this in previous videos. One of the wild cards that can change the housing market is poor buyer sentiment. The survey from Fannie Mae this month states consumer attitude towards housing conditions remains mixed. What I've found from my recent listings, buyers and their buyer's agent aren't just rolling over and saying, how much does the seller want and what can I give them to get into contract? Many feel that there's going to be a shift in the market. And when this happens, this sort of pullback, that's when we start to see buyers just say, you know what, I'll rent for a little bit longer and I'll wait and I'll be patient. Now, I'm not doing the analogy to the housing debacle in 2008. However, that's about when I got into real estate. And I can tell you firsthand is when prices started to switch, and I don't mean fall, just sort of staying plateau. And of course, there was a lot of information going on as far as how can you even get a mortgage. Buyers really pulled back, and that's when inventory started mounting. Once it started mounting, buyers were looking at this with a very critical eye, and sellers were taking notice. That's when we started seeing the prices fall, okay, at their height, which would be 2008, and it continued to about 2011. Now, of course, what added to this was all the foreclosures that were coming on. Now, presently, we do have the eviction moratorium going away and loan forbearance expiring. So it's possible when this occurs, we could see some addition to the inventory, but I don't see it adding much. However, it's just the buyer's position on the whole thing and their approach to wait a little bit, take a beat, and that's when properties start to season on the market And sellers get concerned because sellers want to do what? They want to sell and move on. And they think, I want to take advantage of the height. And that's when we start to see that crest, I call it a pivot, happen. It flattens and it starts going down. And one of the things that can start this is just the buyer saying, I've had enough. I'm going to wait. Number 4, move to a less expensive area from where you work or to another state. Many employees are now considering just moving to a cheaper area in California outside of where they're working. So I'm located in Northern California in the San Francisco area, and more specific in the East Bay Tri-Valley area. These are bedroom communities, and the majority of homeowners here tend to work in San Francisco or in the Silicon Valley because that's where the tech areas are. So for those homeowners or residents who live in the Tri-Valley area, the distance between San Francisco and the Silicon Valley is about 30 to 40 miles. Now, since we have work from home from COVID last year, employers are now allowing employees to work further distance out. A town that's near the Tri-Valley area is Tracy, California. It's only about 10, 15 miles away. But the cost of living is much cheaper, and they have all kinds of new developments there, which means they can get a lot more for their housing dollar, and their company is still allowing their full benefits and salary. As I understand, this same kind of migration is allowed in the LA and San Diego areas. Now, what I feel will really change the housing market for California is when employees start to move to different states, like Columbus, Ohio, Indianapolis, Indiana, and Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Now, as I understand, if you move too far from the designated area from the company or to another state, there can be an adjustment to your salary and benefits. Even with a reduction in benefits and pay, they still may be ahead, right? Because their cost of living is so much cheaper in another area or another state. So what do I take from all this? And here's where I think it might surprise you. Up until now, I've been conservative with my views. I don't see major changes with all these little things that have been going on, especially in California. However, there's too many unknowns that could really change up the housing market. This shifts back to all the stimulus the federal government has been doing, from suppressing interest rates for so long that inflation now is rising faster than expected. The moratoriums on evictions for both tenants as well as homeowners who are in loan forbearance. We're seeing homeowners who sell who actually just leave California to another state. I also have concerns on the government bills on zoning and suppression of investors on purchase properties at trustee sale. And last, the building codes for new construction. This has been going on for over 40 years, and from the time they break ground, it can take 20 years before a home is available to the public. This has made California home ownership more and more difficult. So those are my thoughts. I want to know your thoughts. Please post your comments down below. If you agree, if you disagree, let me know. And of course, if I missed something, put that down there too. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Post again your questions or comments down below. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, consider doing so you don't miss anything. If you found this video interesting, you may want to watch these other two that are starting to pop up just about now. So stay tuned. I have more helpful videos like this coming soon. Please reach out to me for any of your real estate questions or needs, and I wish you all the best on your home journey.